Hi everyone, my name is Jama with Women's Net, and we're so excited to introduce our November 2024 winners. And so today we have with us our November Startup Grant winner, and that is Benita with Casbo's Market. And we're so excited. And also alongside her, we have with us Nicole from Studiocart, and she's our business category STEM winner. And so we're so excited to know what the two of you are doing and how you're making really great impacts and positive things happen in this world. And so thank you for taking the time to be here and welcome. And so let's start with Nicole. Nicole, can you tell us a little bit about what Studio Cart is?
Sure. So it is a WordPress plugin. It is a shopping cart. I basically created it as a easy way for coaches and course creators to easily sell their products online. And not only that, but also automate all the things that happen after you sign someone up for like a program or a course. So like getting them into the right mailing list, adding them into the course, sending out like their login information, welcoming and onboarding them into the program. And yeah, that's basically what it is.
That's pretty awesome. And we know that this feels such a big need. We know that this was something that you developed because you saw a need, created the solution to the difficulty, and you're just helping so many businesses out there. So thank you so much. And Benita, please tell us about Casbo's Market.
My name is Benita, and I'm a cheesemaker. I'm originally from Aleppo, Syria, and I created Casbo's Market to basically share authentic Middle Eastern food with the community around me. And the first product in this consumer products good business is Jibna Syrian cheese that I have launched in the marketplace.
Wonderful. Awesome. And so maybe can you tell us a little bit about what or who inspired your business, Benita?
This idea for sharing authentic Middle Eastern food came to me actually back in 2017. So a while back, I started helping with Syrian refugees, and I served as a translator for Syrian refugee dinners in my local community during the height of the Syrian civil war. And when all of that chaos kind of started and all the tragedy around that, I just felt really compelled to try to connect these two worlds that I'm a part of, since I'm originally from Syria, but I grew up in America. And I saw a big disconnect in the food industry of where consumers didn't fully understand or grasp like what is truly Middle Eastern food. And they didn't have an idea that in the Middle East we are cheesemakers. And this was a traditional recipe that I grew up eating and that we used to make at home. And I was fortunate enough to meet a cheesemaker that I shared my recipe with, and she encouraged me to bring it to the market. So it took me a little while to get things going just because of, being a busy mother. But I was actually able to finally launch completely during COVID. And I have now started to change the cheese category within the industry.
Wonderful. And how amazing to replicate a little bit of home here in the States for these ones. How beautiful. And
Absolutely.
yes, and Nicole, I talked a little bit about how you developed Studio Cart, but please tell us the full story and who or what inspired your business as well.
Sure. So I started out as a web designer and developer, and a lot of my clients, for some reason, wound up being coaches, consultants, and course creators. And obviously they were building website because they had these coaching programs or online courses that they wanted to sell, and they're doing everything online. So of course I would help them with their website. But then when it came time to actually create the products that they were selling, that was like the backbone of their business. I saw how difficult it was to kind of create those processes and set that up, and that how much they needed me to kind of like do what I felt like should be simple things, like just like how you can like email somebody or create a profile for somebody on your course platform. you shouldn't have to hire a developer to automate those processes. And I could kind of see where there was like a disconnect between the solutions that were already out there and, what my clients were looking to do and what they needed to do in order to grow their businesses and make that easier for them. So, I was, like I said, working as a web designer and developer and kind of started pulling back a little bit from that. I had a baby and I was kind of doing everything myself and I was starting to get really worn down, kind of juggling multiple projects at the same time. And I was pulling back a little bit from working one-to-one with my clients on their websites. But in that time, this was around 2020, again, with COVID and everything, things were kind of slowing down. In my downtime, I started thinking again about how difficult it was with the existing solutions to, it was for my clients to build these processes and automate their sales and, sell their courses and their programs. And I was like, let me see if I could try to put something together because I kind of had an idea in my mind of how it should work and how it should work for these types of non-technical, people. And I started kind of just playing around with the code and didn't know if it, for sure if it was something I was actually going to sell. It was kind of just like a little project that I was doing in my free time. And then eventually, as I started working on it, I was like, I think I'm onto something here. And wound up kind of throwing myself into that whole thing and building it out. And in late 2020, I launched it on the WordPress plugin repo for free. And then I eventually got it onto a premium version with more features onto a software deals platform. And, no one had ever heard of me. I've never sold software or anything like that before. Not known as like a software founder or anything, but, people found me on this platform. They were like kind of intrigued because there really wasn't anything else like it at the time.
Mhm.
And took a gamble, tried it out, installed it on their sites, used it, and we're like, this is really good. This is really easy to use and put together. And I'm able to, sell my stuff. And I don't have to hire like a team to put it together for me. This is amazing. And, word spread and, it kind of just took off from there. So, happy to say, we've acquired thousands of customers and a lot of them are very happy with, how easy it's made it for them to sell their products that are like literally the backbone of their business. And yeah, it's kind of like opened up the door, like in the WordPress space for other shopping cart solutions to come in because for much of that time, if you wanted to sell something on WordPress, you kind of had to use like an existing solution called WooCommerce, and
Yeah.
everything was either WooCommerce or an add-on of
Mhm.
that. But this was like kind of like a self-contained system, completely separate from WooCommerce. And I think since launching Studiocart in 2020, now we're like starting to see like more people taking the risk of kind of building their own self-contained solutions as well, and kind of moving away from WooCommerce, which is great for like selling physical products and a traditional e-commerce setup with like a shopping cart and okay, I want to buy, notebooks or pencils or things that need to be shipped. But for digital products like online courses and coaching programs, it's a lot more nuances to it that WooCommerce isn't built to accommodate. So yeah, I'm really happy with, this idea that I had years and years ago. I did decide to go ahead and try to execute it. And yeah, Studio Cart was born. So that's how it came about.
Wonderful. I really love how both of you saw a need and then just did what you're good at. And then, like, here you are today. So that's pretty incredible. That's awesome. And so let's go back to Benita. So, what are some effective things that you've done to let people know about your business? Because Syrian cheese is such a specialized product. So please tell us please tell us how you've helped others to know.
Sure. So I felt in the beginning that it's so important to, we all talk about this, right? Like find your community. And the way I started was I went online, I started researching local cheese shops that are in my area so that way I could start there. And then by doing that, I was able to connect with cheese professionals. And as I started, I literally would go out with with cheese in my bag. And I would just start like leaving blocks of cheese for people. And I created brochures for myself. And truthfully, I created like an image that I was actually bigger than I was. And I think it's really important that when you go out there and you create a product, and even if you're a one person operation, which I still am today, that you really present yourself in a manner that makes you look bigger than you are. So by going out, literally knocking on doors and meeting people, I was able to start to spread the word. And then that combined with the influence of social media, which truthfully, I know we always think about social media as, what we're putting on our own page, but I used it in a different way. I went and I supported other people's pages that led them back to me. So whatever business that you're in, you want to go find either who the people are that could help support your growth, who are maybe not your customers, but maybe they're the professionals that are within the industry. So I just kept looking for more people to follow and more people to learn from and support their pages that then led them back to me to say, hey, you know what, there's this woman who has this unique product. Let's now help her. So that was extremely helpful to me. The other thing I did was I went online and I researched where are events for people within the cheese community. So one great example I can give you is every year there's Culture Magazine, which is a magazine around cheese, and they hold events throughout the U.S. Well, they had one in Philadelphia, which is only 2 hours from me, and I cold emailed them. Everyone that was on their list, I emailed all of them. And I said to them, hi, I'm a local cheesemaker. I make this unique product. I explained to them what it is. I said, do you need a speaker for your event? And they replied to me and they said, no, we're full. But a week later, the owner of the magazine, who I had emailed, called me and said, I saw your email and I absolutely want you to come to the event. And I was able to then present my product to 65 cheese professionals that led me to so many other opportunities that are truly changing my business today. And that just happened this past April. It was not that long ago. So I highly encourage people to not just think of themselves as their own Instagram page or their own LinkedIn, but how can you support others so that way they then can support you? And then you will not only gain professional knowledge, connections, but then they will help you grow because now you're a part of their ecosystem.
That's pretty incredible. That's
Thank
amazing. That's
Thank
so
you.
inspiring.
Thank you. Oh, and can I add one more thing? I
Yes.
would like to say I also my product was featured in the New York Times, and I just always encourage people like back to the idea that don't feel that because you're just one person that you don't deserve the opportunity for big public, big PR opportunities. So I encourage everyone to always feel free. The worst thing that can happen if you send an email is that no one responds. So I personally cold emailed Florence Fabricant, who's a famous food writer, and I told her all about myself and my product. And at that time, I was only in 2 stores. And she, 6 weeks later, wrote back to me. And I drove to New York City. I dropped off my product with her doorman. And a week later, my product, myself, my business, and a picture of my cheese was featured in the New York Times food section. So I think it's so important that you just have to be your own biggest fan and put yourself out there through email, DM, and just keep pushing yourself forward to get to the next step.
Wonderful. Thank you for those practical tips and that insight.
Thank you.
So awesome. And so, Nicole, you're in a tech industry that there's just so much noise on the internet. And so what effective strategies have you used to let others know about your business and what you're doing and the service that you provide?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Definitely crowded, a lot of noise. And I will admit, in the beginning, I struggled to cut through. I struggled to get any attention or users or people who were just willing to like risk, their business, like literally their business on, my solution. Again, I'm completely unheard of and, no experience in this industry. So kind of along the lines of what Benita was saying, I kind of had to believe in myself and put myself out there and reach out to, like I said, like platforms like AppSumo, um, partner with other software developers like Freemius, for example, who handles our licensing, and also, popular influencers and, voices in the WordPress space, like Chris Lima, and reaching out to them and kind of getting their attention and saying, hey, I do have this product that's kind of new, it's unique in that it's like a self-contained system. As I did acquire users, I'm getting good feedback. Could you take a look at it and let me know what you think? And AppSumo, they brought me on. They have like a very extensive vetting process, especially back then. And they took a shot and allowed me to place a listing on their platform. They promoted me, and it was able to take off, and that got the attention of other people. And like I said, like Chris Lima, who then wrote about my plugin and the solution that it was solving for coaches and course creators. And Freemius invited me to write a blog, kind of like explaining my experience getting started in the software business. And just all of that exposure from those bigger platforms with people with bigger audiences, and I definitely had really helped to grow my business and my customer base. And super thankful that they did take a chance on me as unknown. So
Absolutely. That's amazing too, just to know who to reach out to and take that chance. And what I love about both of your stories is, and Benita, you mentioned it, is you're absolutely right. The worst thing that's going to happen is no one's going to respond. But you can let them make that choice. You don't have to make that choice for them. And so I'm really glad both of you did reach out and connect with these ones. And here you are today. So very good. So thank you so, so much for sharing a little bit about what you're doing, and the awesome tips that you gave were just so practical and helpful. Maybe Benita, can you tell our network how to find you? So
Yeah, so I'm on all social media as at Kasbo's Market, which is KASBOS Market. And then my website is kasbosmarket.com. And on my website, actually, there's a form that you can complete if you would like to email me directly, or you can just send me an email at kasbosmarket@gmail.com.
Wonderful. And Nicole, how do we find Studiocart?
Yeah, so you can find our website at studiocart.co, and we also have a Facebook group. We have resources on, building your own course and getting that set up and ready to sell. And of course, you can sign up for our mailing list for additional tips on how to get, your funnel, your business funnel, sales funnel set up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.